So this calibration is on a first generation touchscreen for a 9000 instrument. So you're going to connect up your terminals 27 and 28 with copper wire to your sourcing meter, and then we're going to go into the menu here to get to the calibration. So we're going to select menu, and we have to, you can either arrow down or arrow up. Since the calibration is towards the bottom of the menu, I arrow up through the bottom, and you're going to arrow until you have highlighted user calibration and select it, pressing the enter. Passcode is the number 2. Enter. And this starts at the cold junction. We will not do the cold junction first, but what we will be doing is we're going to be doing input 3, which is terminals 27, 28. So we have to select next until we see up here it's going to tell us our 0 for input 3, range 2, and this is our 0 millivolts. So at this point we're going to go ahead and source in from our sourcing meter 0 millivolts into terminals 27, 28, input 3. We're going to go ahead and edit this field and tell it what we're sourcing in. So we're sourcing in 0 millivolts, and then this value down here tells us in a microvolt reading what it's actually seeing on that current input 3. So right now it's seeing a negative 1.58 microvolt. So we'll give it a second to zero out there, and as you can see now it's holding pretty steady. We're going to select calibrate. So as you can see, it took a second there, but the progress meter here towards the bottom of the screen is now calibrating the input for 0. Once the 0 calibration is complete, we're going to select the next, and this is now going to allow us to span input 3, range 2. It's telling us a suggested span voltage of 65 millivolts, so I'm going to go ahead and have my meter source in 65 millivolts. I'm going to select edit to edit this field, let it know that I'm sourcing in 65 millivolts. And as you can see, it's showing us here the current input 3 value now is 65,000 microvolts. So I will give it a second here just to equalize, to stabilize out. Once it has stabilized, I'll go ahead and select the calibrate button. Let's get a little bit closer here, 65,000 even. Calibrate. Before you select the calibrate, you want to make sure that you do have the value that you are sourcing in. So in this case, since we are sourcing in the 65 millivolts, we have 65 in that field. All of our sourcing for 0 and span is being done with copper wire. Once this is complete, we can now select Done and Escape out of the menu to get back to our main screen. And this is where we're going to have to go ahead and disconnect our copper wire and reconnect our TC wire, and then we will source in from our meter thermocouple measurements to check our cold junction.